Victor Gyökeres, 125 goal contributions in 102 games. A striker turning heads across Europe. And now, Juventus are ready to make their move. With uncertainty around Dusan Vlahovic's future, Juve are exploring what could be the biggest striker switch of the summer. Juventus are evaluating their next step in attack. No final decision has been made on Dusan Vlahovic just yet. He could stay, especially if the price isn't right. But with his wages, the highest in the Serie A, and his fit under Igor Tudor still debated, Juve are open to selling if the right offer comes in. And if he does leave, they've identified one name as the perfect replacement: Victor Gyökeres. Now let's talk output. 125 goal contributions in 102 games for Sporting. He's not just scoring, he's assisting, creating, pressing, and carrying the entire front line. Quick, powerful, tireless, and lethal in transition. Gyokeres is becoming one of the most complete strikers in Europe. He's not just a support act, he's a one-man strike force. But big performances come with a big price tag. Sporting won 80 million to let him go. It's a bold ask and a massive gamble for Juventus if he doesn't hit the ground running. But while others hesitate, Juve sees a chance to strike first. This is more than just replacing a forward. It's a chance to build around a striker Tudor can shape, one who fits his vision perfectly. Whether Vlahovic stays or goes, Gyokeres represents a fresh identity up front. A forward who can press, run, battle and finish, with or without support. Juventus want to return to the top, and if they believe Gyokeres is that striker, they may just pay the price to lead the next era. Meanwhile, Juventus are looking to offload Lloyd Kelly. Signed by Cristiano Giuntoli for 20 million, the English defender arrived with promise, but hasn't delivered. While Igor Tudor gave him consistent minutes, Kelly failed to impress or show the quality needed to anchor Juve's backline. Now, with Giuntoli gone and the project shifting, Juventus are hoping to break even on the fee and move on from another short-lived experiment. Big changes are coming to Turin. The only question now is who stays and who leads the new era. Victor Gyökeres. Now that's a name, that's a striker on a lot of clubs' radars. Clubs like Juventus, they're looking at him and saying, maybe, just maybe, you are the striker we've been dying out for. Maybe, just maybe, you are that striker. It's going to have an impact on games on a consistent basis. 125 goal contributions in 102 games. Sporting are happy to sell, but there's been a breakdown in communication. Earlier on in the season, it was reported that there was a gentleman's agreement. If an offer was to come in from a Champions League club between 55 and 60 million, Sporting would accept. Now, they've turned their back and they're saying, listen, we want 80 million base for Victor Gyökeres. He's their number one most prized asset. They know clubs across the world are in need of a striker, and the striker market isn't the broadest, nor does it have the most of quality. So in their eyes, a striker with 125 goal contributions in 102 games is top of the food chain. It's the most in demand, and big clubs with a lot of money all over Europe need a number 9. So seeing as he's their most prized of assets, they're trying to get as much money as possible. Is Victor Gyökeres worth 70-80 million base? In my opinion, no. Yes, 125 goal contributions in 102 games. Yes, he's got 50 goals this season. He's not worth 80 million, I'll be honest with you guys. As much as I made a video in the past where I was like, listen, this guy is a bully. Like, physically, he's a demon. He can run you the channels. He can hold you the ball. He can score goals out of nothing. He can create his own opportunities. He's got a wonder of a foot. He scores you penalties. He scores you free kicks. He can dribble. He sounds like the complete package. But 80 million for me, for a striker from Liga NOS, not for me. I'll be honest with you guys. With all due respect, this isn't even me trying to be disrespectful in any way, but history doesn't really paint Liga NOS to be the best. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, when you look at some of the striker options that have come out of that league, as of late, don't get me wrong, every league, you come across a profile that leaves and goes on to do well. Like, for example, Liga NOS is the home of Cristiano Ronaldo. But for example, it's also the home of Joao Felix. He left for 120 million to Atletico Madrid, and it never ever worked out. But he was a player that terrorized Liga NOS. I look at somebody like Darwin Núñez. He terrorized Liga NOS. His career never picked up outside of Benfica, outside of Portugal. I look at somebody like Gonçalo Ramos. His career never ever picked up ever since he left Benfica. I look at somebody like Fabio Silva, who was regarded the next big thing. He had Wolves in the Premier League pay 40 million for his signature at the age of 18. Where on God's earth is Fabio Silva? Does anybody know without going on Google? I don't know. I actually have no idea where he is. A lot of players have left Liga NOS. Players that done well. Players that scored goals for fun. But once they go to the top leagues in Europe's top 5, they struggle to replicate those performances. And I feel like the reason why a lot of clubs, Juventus need a new striker. Arsenal needs a new striker. You can make a case Chelsea need a new striker. Liverpool are looking for a new striker. Manchester United are looking for a new striker. A lot of these clubs with a lot of money are very hesitant on Victor Gyökeres. Now, maybe, just maybe in their eyes, he's not worth 80 million. But which striker that gets you 125 goal contributions in 102 games is not worth 80 million? You tell me. You tell me. If you knew he could replicate you those numbers, you would pay 80 million for Victor Gyökeres. There's a lot of doubt, not on Gyokeres. I feel like there's a lot of doubt on the league that Gyokeres plays in. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've watched a decent amount of Sporting Lisbon. Whenever I've watched him, he's impressed me. But the one thing that hasn't impressed me is the overall level of defending in the Portuguese league. It's the overall goalkeeping ability. You could go back and watch all 50 goals of his from this season. And I kid you not, those 50 goals might be 15 to 18 in Serie A. They might be. They might even be 12. A lot of those goals get saved by other keepers. A lot of those penalties get saved by other keepers. A lot of those opportunities don't even happen in other leagues because there's better defenders. There's better structures. Like, we're very fortunate. We've got access to the internet. You can go and make up your own opinion. But I didn't see a striker where I was like, you put him in Serie A against those low blocks and he is a bully. No, this is a striker that's just benefiting on players in and around him, like a level of competition which is relatively low. And that's the same as Darwin Núñez. He benefited on the competition being low. Gonçalo Ramos, he benefited on the competition being low. João Felix, he benefited on the competition being low. I feel like the last striker to come out of Liga NOS to go on to have a good career in Europe's top 5 is Radamel Falcao. Maybe I've forgotten somebody. But in my opinion, Radamel Falcao, when he went to Atletico Madrid in 2012. I'm looking at so many other names. Jackson Martinez. These are players that done well in Liga NOS. And these are players that hadn't even cost you as much as 80 million. I think clubs are very, very, very hesitant on that league as a whole. Like, even if you were to say, even some of the midfielders like Nico Gonzalez, he's gone to Manchester City. He looks horrible. Manuel Ugarte, he went to PSG for 1 season. And they were like, you're not good enough. Yes, there are some that leave. João Neves, amazing. Ruben Diaz, amazing. Bruno Fernandes, amazing. You could even make a case Enzo Fernandez. But the sample size is small. More players have left Liga NOS and gone on to fail than players that have left, gone on to succeed and gone on to prove their worth. Even, for example, Francisco Conceição. I know he's a player that's in the Juve fan base. He's a favourite. Like, they want him to stay. I've always been of the opinion, I don't think this guy's good. But in the Portuguese league, he done well. He literally ran circles. He was one of the most feared wingers in Liga NOS. In the Serie A, I'm seeing a guy that just kicks the ball down the line. Can't dribble. Yes, he can beat his man, but what good is beating your man if you don't have to put a cross in? A player that plays with his head down. And that's the main reason why Juventus are not even looking to pay 30 million for him. They want to try and negotiate 20 million. Francisco Conceição is not worth 30. 20 million, I'll take the gamble on him. And I feel like that's why a lot of clubs are looking at Gyokeres and saying 80 million base is a lot of money. For a guy, yes, the numbers are great. Yes, the goal catalogue is great. But we're bringing you to a league with far better keepers, with far better defenders. We might be looking to utilise you in a different system. I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. It's a gamble. Like, I like him. I'll be honest with you guys. I've watched him. I like him. I like the fact that he's got this main character syndrome where he wants to get stuck in. He always imposes himself. He's not one of those strikers where after 90 minutes you're sat scratching your head thinking, I didn't see him on the pitch. No, he's always involved. He's tenacious. He's aggressive. He presses. He leads the line. He runs the channels. But I'll be honest with you guys. I have to take into consideration the league. I have to. And I feel like maybe, just maybe, Juventus are looking at him and saying 70, 80 million is a massive gamble. If it works out, because you have to bear in mind, the first club to sign him from Sporting will be the club taking the biggest gamble on Victor Gyökeres. Clubs are looking at him, but a lot of clubs are cautious. The first club that signs him I feel like he will leave Sporting Lisbon this year. The club that signs him, you've now taken the biggest gamble. Either he replicates those performances and turns those 50 goals in Liga NOS into 30 goals in the Premier League, 30 goals in Serie A, not even 30, 20, 25. You'd be laughing. To get yourself a striker, 26, 27 years ago, 26, 27 years old, that can get you 20, 25, season after season. On top of the fact that he presses relentlessly. He's good at hold up. He's a physical demon. He's reliable. I'll be honest with you guys, it's worth the money. Clubs are paying over 100 million for strikers that can't even get them 10 goals. It's worth the money. But if you sign him and he exposes the fact that he can't do it in Europe's top 5 leagues where the competition is of way higher quality, you've now got yourself an £80 million striker that nobody's looking to sign. And if you want to get rid of him, you're selling him for less than 50%. It's a massive gamble. And that's why with me, I like Gyokeres. But I don't like Gyokeres for 80 million. I don't like Gyokeres for 70 million. I like Gyokeres 50, 60 million. Which is what was being reported earlier on in the summer. 80 million for me. This is going to sound crazy. 80 million for me. I'll just take the gamble on Vlahovic. I'll be honest with you guys. Vlahovic's done well at Fiorentina. And the same things were said about him. Can hold up the ball. Can run the channels. Physically imposing. He can score you goals. Let's not forget, Vlahovic at Fiorentina was scoring goals for fun in this area. In this area, not Liga NOS. 80 million, I'd pump the money in other areas. Maybe get another centre half, get a full back, get 1 or 2 wingers. 80 million on a striker, for me it's too much. I'll be honest with you guys, for me it's too much. So, because of that, I don't know, Juventus really need to study this signature. They really, really, really need to study it. 80 million is a lot of money. And if it doesn't work out, you've got yourself a massive problem. But anyways, let's talk about Lloyd Kelly quickly. Lloyd Kelly is up for sale. I feel like we all expected it. Like, he hasn't really done well. As much as I don't think he's been as bad as people like to see him, he just hasn't been good, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, he hasn't shown he can play out of the back. He hasn't shown he can handle the pressure of Juventus. He hasn't shown he's aggressive. Like, funnily enough, for a centre-half, he's very passive. Very passive. Passive centre-halves that aren't the strongest, that are a little bit timid, attackers will love to play against you. And I'll be honest with you guys, those Serie A attackers had serious fun against Lloyd Kelly. He's constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. He doesn't win his duels in the air. He doesn't win his duels on the ground. Playing out of the back, he's very shaky. Always launching it long when there's options coming close. I'll be honest, 20 million, the only thing that might be able to help Juventus is the fact that he's English. So clubs in the Premier League, they've got a certain quota to fill. And maybe, just maybe, they'll be willing to give them 20 million. But even then, the fact that Juventus signed him 6 months ago and now they're looking to sell him tells everybody across the world Juventus don't want him and he hasn't done well enough. I don't think Juventus will break even. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to like 10 million with add-ons, potentially a 15 million package. Juventus are better off just taking the 5 million loss on him. But he's up for sale and Victor Gyökeres is talk of the town. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.